Greetings and welcome to an all-you-can-geek movie cast. This one without Jim. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency that he's dealing with, so fingers crossed everything will be good there. But he's joining us in the chat. Hopefully, he can chime in here and there. Tonight, though, we have Tony Kokonakis with us and Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
There you go. Jim's in the chat. So, welcome everyone. Yeah, as you know, we do this live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock ish. Running a little behind, but try to get there around 8 o'clock. Movie cast, game cast right after. Always hit us up, like us on the Facebooks, subscribe, and do all the things. But tonight we got our movie cast with some interesting stuff going on. We got the box office, which was dead, right? So we can kind of kick that down the road. Nothing new, exciting there. So what have you been up to, Mike? What's new in the watching world for you?
I watched one thing. As I might have mentioned late last week, we actually mostly just watched some Christmas movies. Decided to get the ad level of Netflix.
Man, it's not even Thanksgiving. Come on, what are you doing? Get a Thanksgiving movie in there.
There's no such thing, really. There's like two
Spider-Man.
Thanksgiving.
We just talked about it. No, I think I saw somebody was like, "Oh, Spider-Man's a Thanksgiving movie because they."
Right, that's right. The
turkey.
first one. So as confirmed by what Jim said, yeah, I can't watch Into the Spider-Verse on there.
Oh, wow.
Blocked out on that level, which is bullshit, but whatever. What I could watch is I did decide to watch one episode, a little 22-minute bit of the Sonic Prime second season. So
okay,
it was all right. It's keeping same level really as the first season. A fun little for kids, but not like annoyingly so Sonic story. So it was fine.
Cool.
That was it.
Well, sounds good. Tony, got anything new now that Loki's over? Ah, right. Mm-hmm. Like B-list or C-list celebrities. Ah, gotcha. Oh, Jim's pointing out we can't hear you, Tony. Oh.
One of those situations.
He also mentioned Marvel's is dead, and
yeah, not
Christmas
if you
after
were
Halloween. So
if you were expecting that second week to save it, it did not happen.
All right, how about now?
Well, it might be in the news.
Yeah, it was OBS again. Fucking piece of shit. It's working now.
That's cool. All right,
say.
so the Korean
the Korean game show. Yeah, so C-list celebrities. Obviously, there's a little twist to it. It's not like a straight, one-to-one adaptation or like duplicate or anything like that. But it was good. I felt like the finals was a little flat because like a lot of the games are like political and stuff like that, and then the finals is just like, hey, like this is play some board games you've never heard of before or have never played, and do this absurd memory game, and it's like I don't know, I get it, but at the same time it's like not as interesting to me when they do stuff like that. It's like, oh well, this isn't really who has the best strategy, it's just who has the better memory.
Right.
Yeah, it's like whatever. So that's fine. But they renewed it for a second season, so I'm hoping they get any feedback from the first season and can tweak it for the second season and stuff like that. I'm just glad to have something that fills in that niche because it's not like they have a ton of those types of shows. Second thing, big thing, was the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is the Scott Pilgrim anime. And that was fantastic.
Did you blow through all of it already?
Yes. Oh my god. Wow. There's only 8 episodes.
Yeah,
so
yeah, no.
You can get through that in like no time at all. But I really loved it as a Scott Pilgrim fan. I mean, I love that whole universe and everything about it, like the comic, the movie, the video game, and now we have that cartoon and stuff like that. That's one thing. Like it met and exceeded expectations, which is rare, in my opinion, where it's like, oh, okay, stuff like that. And you know, it's not like it's a straight adaptation either. It's not like, oh, it's just like one for one for the comics and stuff like that. So
Right, and it's not like one for one for the movies either, because
No.
it's not like I didn't feel like, oh, they just like dubbed the movies to and animated over it. Like
No.
that could have been something they did too, and it's like, oh, thank goodness they didn't.
None at all. But yeah, that was really great. Man, it's like something coming out this late in the year. It's like making me rethink like TV of the year is
Ooh.
going to be a little harder to, you know,
Wow,
think
okay.
about now because
That's ranking it up there.
yeah, I mean, I already
The best.
rewatched a couple episodes too because like some of them are so good.
Hmm.
But
The animation is so great because it just jumps right off the comic. Like,
right, okay, so
you're-
you watched it too then?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I didn't watch all of it yet, but
Yeah.
like I started it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Jim's chiming in the chat. He's also like saying how it's amazing. 30-minute episodes. Love the twist. Spoiler? No, it's not a spoiler. It's a twist, but it's just something to look forward to if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like I said, like I love the opening sequence too. I thought that the music they chose for everything was so good, and yeah, just jumps right off like the comic book. But then you get the voice actors from the film, and so it's like this puts you right there too. It's like, oh, this is so good, and you forget like I kind of just like forgot that those are the actual people. Like I didn't picture Michael Cera in my head when I was watching the show. It's like, oh, this is just Scott Pilgrim, and the animation is so good and everything. So it was really impressive.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that part. Like, it's like not. I'm thinking like, oh, that's Michael Cera. I'm like, oh no, that's just
Right.
Scott. You know, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. So just those two things.
Yes. Yeah, just those two things.
Cool. Yeah. No, I was just that Scott Pilgrim for me, and completely agree. Excited to see where it goes because, like I said, I'm not all the way through, just halfway in, and so yeah, I'll probably wrap that up this week here with the holiday and everything. Oh, and yeah, last one before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. All right, so let's get into some news. Movie news. I mean, the weirdest thing that came out, like you just recently posted, Tony, today, was that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are going to be teaming up for another Karate Kid movie. What do you know about this?
Just what that article says, because that was so out of the blue, left field. Like, I don't know. I think they said. I mean, you have the article out, right? Like, I can't look it up, but
yeah,
I think it's kind of like fish out of water thing, where I think it's a Japanese or Chinese kid in America this time around, or something like that, and they're both involved.
I'm just kind of scrolling through here real quick.
Jackie Chan was in that like other Karate Kid, right?
Yeah, with
where
the Smith kid.
Jaden Smith
Jaden
one.
Smith.
yeah, so that was a little while ago now, and
But that one
obviously
was so weird because they called it the Karate Kid, but everybody like knows Kung Fu, so it's like why? Like I easily just could have done like Kung Fu Kid or something like that. But
You know, right now they're just looking for
Name
an actor to
recognition.
play the Karate Kid. So yeah, no,
it's
interesting.
odd. I didn't know they would. I mean, is Jackie Chan's character going to be the same character from that movie?
I assume so.
You expect
That's
but
what I understand.
you expect Ralph
it's gonna be
Macchio to still be
Karate
Ralph
Kid cinematic
Macchio.
universe here.
I guess so. I didn't know that one was even supposed to be within the same universe. as
Yeah,
the
I mean,
older
like right
movies.
now with Cobra Kai being as popular as it is,
Yeah.
you know, like makes sense to kind of
Yeah,
cash in
so-
on its popularity. Yeah.
So the latest iteration will bring the story to the East Coast and focus on a teen from China who finds strength and direction via martial arts and a tough but wise mentor. And it's going to be a fast turnaround time. Apparently, it's penciled in for December 13th, 2024, with them
We'll see.
shooting
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah, if there's not a high effects movie, they could definitely get that done.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this is just like one of those writers guild, like the writers and actors strike. Like this is just an opportunity. Like, hey, we could do this real quick and have something out for next year, right?
Yeah, and Cobra Kai, people love Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's already wrote itself. Like we just have to follow the basic outline as these other movies.
I just don't know where it's gonna fit in the time. Like if it's supposed to be part of like the greater universe, then like what does that mean for Cobra Kai, right? Like
Yeah,
Ralph,
it's gonna be
like he's,
interesting. I mean, they say
Daniel
that
just
they're
fucks off. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go train some kid.
reprising their characters. So yeah. Jim wanted us to mention the Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah, I heard good things about that.
I haven't seen anything about it, so.
Wait, Jim, you were supposed to fucking watch Arcane.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, we knew this would happen. We knew it. Come on, Tony.
Yeah, okay.
We knew.
Did we?
But, so, yeah, continuing on in the news, we have Dave Filoni, or
Filoni.
Thank you. Has been promoted to Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm. He will work directly with Kathleen Kennedy to oversee all Star Wars projects going forward, which it can't be worse than it is.
No.
I mean, he's pretty heavily involved already, right? So it just seems like the natural progression.
Well, I mean, I guess he's just like the Kevin Feige now of the Star Wars universe, which is fine because I mean we've said for how many years now, that's what they needed, some cohesiveness, which is fine. But like, I'm just checked out of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he's already a little past his prime. It feels like with this universe, it's almost like even though he couldn't have gone up anymore, but it's like promoting George Lucas after the prequels. That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, I think he's got a good reputation because of the animation stuff, right? And so he's been heavily involved already, like we mentioned. So it seems like the natural thing. The problem here is Kathleen Kennedy is still heavily involved. And if Kathleen Kennedy is still heavily involved, you're going to have problems. That's just how I see it. So
I don't really.
I don't know.
I don't know
what she actually does.
I
feel like she's been scapegoated.
I feel like she's been scapegoated too, because like you can easily point at all like the bad things she's been a part of, but like you have to also give her the credit where it's due and stuff like that. And I mean, she's done more than Star Wars too. I just don't know the resume off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not absolving her of blame either, but a lot of it just I think has to do with Disney greed, where it's like, hey, you need to do a Star Wars movie every year. I mean, she has to say yes to that, right? Like, I mean, that's her boss. You know, Mickey Mouse is her fucking boss. So she's like, all right, guys, well, what are we supposed to do? We need to do one Star Wars movie a year. And then it started out okay, right? Rogue One. I think we were all pretty receptive to Rogue One. Sure. But then, quickly devolved into Han Solo story or whatever the fuck it was. And it's like, what are we doing anymore?
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. It's like somebody's got to take the brunt of the blame. And you eventually got to go to the top of
sure
making decisions. So
sure, absolutely. I just don't see a successor either. Like, you could get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, but like, then Filoni goes up, right? Because I mean, he's the only one. He's the top dog.
Exactly. So. Well, and that's what we'll find out if it makes a difference. But I just think if you're gonna make the change and have a new chief creative officer, then let him do whatever he needs to do and not have his hands tied by someone else. But anyways, yeah. So Star Wars, we'll see. It's been hard to get excited for that universe recently.
I only care about Star Wars video games at this point.
Oh, one anyway.
Yeah,
recently. All right, moving on to some DC stuff here, because we got some Superman Legacy news as well that came out. Looks like Nicholas Hoult will play Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. What do you think of this casting, Mike?
I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it. It's fine.
I don't even know who this dude is.
This guy played Beast in the X-Men movies.
Newer X-Men
First
movies.
Class.
He's supposed to play who?
Lex Luthor. Yeah.
It's all right, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like
they're skewing younger for everything. So.
I mean, I don't think this guy's that young anymore, but I'm sure he's like my age or something. But it's fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like they're going. It just seems like in general everything is going younger here, just because if they want to build a franchise, which makes sense. You don't want to have a 45-year-old Batman or whatever.
But we do.
Oh, no. I mean, I think
we did.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they're going skewing younger. That's my
okay.
point.
All right, just saying. I was like,
The only
Ben
one don't
Affleck's
have it.
Batman's supposed to.
That was my reference. Was yeah. That's
But
what
it was like,
the whole point was.
I mean, how old is Robert Pattinson? He's old too.
He's
right?
like 30, 35
He's my
probably.
age. He's 37.
Yeah,
37.
right up there.
Skewing like that. I mean,
And,
just saying,
and
you're
no,
not
but it's
getting
also
people standing
funny
there.
because when this movie came out a couple years ago, they're like, "Oh, this is a young Batman." Like, yes, but no.
The Batman
he
character
plays
is
younger.
young, not the actor.
Right, he plays younger, for sure.
But I mean, like that's been it since forever. I mean, fucking Tobey Maguire was like what 30 something when he was.
I think by the end of it, maybe.
Jim
but
likes
still,
this
playing
casting,
like
so
playing
what
high
do you-
school. It's like it looks so bad now. Like I don't know if you guys have like, but like when I rewatch those Spider-Man ones, I'm just like, how did they get away with being like, yeah, we're gonna cast some like near 30-year-olds to play high schoolers and make it believable?
Yeah.
No, I think you just didn't want to have actual children in those roles, so it's like whatever. Just deal with the fact that in your 20s means you're in high school. It's fine.
Sure, I'm just
But
like,
they
they
basically
like
think
Superman
the same
movie
way
with
anyway.
Lex Luthor anyway, so you gotta have him. But they also did like announce a whole bunch of casting as well. So not just the three that we know, and then obviously we've heard about Guy Gardner is going to be in the movie. Nathan Fillion was going to play him, but they also cast Jimmy Olsen, who's going to be played by Skylar Gisondo. I'm hoping I say that right.
Never heard of him. Again, doesn't, inoffensive, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. We got a few other people, like Eddie Gath. I'm not going to say these people's names correctly. As Michael Hoult, Mr. Terrific, is going to be in it. Di Fiaria as the engineer is being played by Maria Gabriella.
I forgot there was a whole lot of people in there that don't make sense. Yeah.
And this is coming from Can We Get Some Toast on Twitter X thing. So, yeah, I mean, we got a whole bunch of people. It's coming together, and it seems like it should hit the as long as not. I mean, we'll see if there's a lot of effects. Who knows? But it's coming out sooner or the same time, right? The date hasn't moved.
yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. James Gunn is usually pretty good. The other funny thing we saw some more comic book news was that Robert Kirkman just casually confirming that Steven Yeun was playing Sentry in the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, fuck it, like whatever. I don't know if this spoils anything for anybody, but I was talking to Steven and he's like, oh yeah, apparently I only play superheroes that wear yellow and blue.
Yep.
Because he is the voice of Invincible in the cartoon. So yeah, that's rumor. It was rumored before, but basically Kirkman confirmed it in a live stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've heard those rumors before that he was gonna play somebody in the MCU. It was a matter of timing and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's fine. I mean, to me, it was essentially just like the equivalent of Superman, but I guess it's kind of like, what if Superman's a little unhinged sometimes or something like that?
Right,
Like,
right.
I feel like there's like some mental illness that's like part of his character.
Yeah. I don't.
They play it up sometimes. I don't really. It's like tied to his powers. I think it's weird.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really read anything where he was in it. I just remember one of the more iconic pieces that was shared online that I just absorbed through osmosis was like he flew Carnage out to space and like ripped him in half or something like that, just like left him there or something. Like it's just like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
He
Go for it, bud.
normally, I've seen him like a couple times in like New Avengers type stuff where he sort of shows up a little bit like a measuring stick, like halfway through. He's like, it's like, oh, you thought you were powerful? Well, there's Sentry, and it's like, oh, and then someone takes him out. It's like,
Yeah,
that's kind of Sentry's role in Marvel Comics.
yeah. Sometimes you just gotta have those jobber characters and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of, I did watch the new episode of Invincible, and then I got mad.
There you go.
And then I got mad because I was like, this pacing is so awful for like a 1 a week format. And then like to do like part 1 before, the year ends and then part 2 at some point in 2024. I was like, F this. And I got motivated. I just read Invincible. I just straight up read.
Read through all of it.
I read through all of it because it's actually not that long. I think it's like 40 comics or something like that, and like you start off at like, I don't know, 30 to 40 if you've watched the show already or something like that. But it was good, don't get me wrong, but like just the comics, like the longer this went on, the more ridiculous stuff got, and I was just like, what are we even doing anymore? Like, I just feel like it went from this cool like story about you know, teenager getting his powers and learning how to be a superhero into all this weird shit. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I want to talk about some of the things that happen, but it's obviously a spoiler for like the next couple of episodes, and I'm just like, I would love to talk to like Kirkman and just be like, what was the thought process here? Like, we're just like, yes, this will definitely make the story better and will be interesting because of it. Because like, I'm wondering how much they change for the cartoon.
The show, yeah.
Because I think some of this stuff has
aged.
aged.
Back and read the show parts that you.
No. I just went through it, and like for the most part, I was fine. There was a couple things where I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh," and stuff like that. So I'm hoping they change it because, man, some of the stuff that happens, I'm just like, okay, I could see comic people being into it, like whatever, it's a comic book, but like to see it like animated, I'm just like, don't know about that. Don't know.
So you don't, do you know if the parts that you're up to already is like more 1-to-1, or is it more like Walking Dead where things were way different, really?
It's closer to 1-to-1. The things I've noticed that were different was like the timing. Like I had to skip through a couple of issues where they deal with him doing the college tour from season 1. Where like
they kind of moved things around.
Yeah, they kind of moved things about
pacing and stuff.
Right. One of the characters was like, doesn't make a difference because they just died. Like we already saw him die. But one of the Justice League members was a male in the comics, but turned into a female for the show and stuff like that. But nothing major. Really, just.
I think it's also easier in animation to kind of be more accurate with the comic book.
Yeah.
Right.
I do remember reading the Walking Dead comics after seeing most of the show, and I felt a little sort of gratuitous and tacky in that. In that sort of the comic, yeah. And from the framing of having seen the show first, I was just like, it seems a little. I don't know.
Well, yeah. There's only. I mean, that was. I feel like Kirkman's rise to like popularity was that like it was like, ooh, these aren't comics for little kids.
Right.
These are comics for adults. And it's like, yeah, we're going to show like gratuitous violence as close as to sex as we can get. Like, we're going to use bad words. It's like, oh man, okay.
I mean, back then, that was the thing. Nobody was doing that.
Yeah, nobody was doing it. So that's good. But with this, I feel like reading the comics now, I just feel like a lot of the things that should probably be shocking to me aren't. Because I'm used to like
desensitized.
Yeah, I was desensitized. And the thing is, because I could just like read it all through, like something would happen, I'd be like, that character's fine. Like I know that character's fine, and it's like, oh look, a couple pages later, like yeah, okay. It's like yeah, of course you're not gonna do that, like whatever. But still, it's good. I'm just curious to see now how the animation, if they'll redo it, just to get back to the Scott Pilgrim thing, where it's like, oh, when you're divorced from that kind of content for so many years, maybe you want to change things up when given the opportunity to.
Yeah, going back to Scott Pilgrim, it was so cool to have that kind of nostalgia video game, stuff going on in it too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mike, you'd appreciate the so just to talk about Scott Pilgrim then for a minute. One of the classic things is when Scott Pilgrim talks to his love interest Ramona the first time. He breaks the ice. I forget how he does it in the comics, but in the movie, he goes, Pac-Man? And she's like the video game character? And he's like, yeah. And he gives her like some trivia about Pac-Man and stuff like that. And she's like, okay, like it's weird because they're at a party and they've never talked before. But in the cartoon, he goes up to her and goes, Sonic the Hedgehog? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, did you know that in the 90s there's 2 cartoons that aired simultaneously? One during the week, which was silly and involved him eating chili dogs, and then one on Saturdays that was a bit more adult and dark, gritty and stuff like that. But they were voiced by the same guy. Isn't that so weird? One guy playing 2 characters. It's like, okay. Yep. But yeah, so good.
I only
Mhm.
learned about that in the last like 5 years, I think myself.
Well, there you go. That's well, awesome. So, last bit of news we got here is some Fantastic Four stuff here with Pedro Pascal being eyed to play Reed Richards. This is just a rumor, I believe, still,
This is like a
but
strong rumor though, because like all these people,
very
as soon as the one first person came out, like all these other polices started
yeah. So like,
corroborating
it's
it.
one of those things that there's no like official like people coming out saying it, but it seems like it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
really like it that much. I feel like at this point he's
Daddy
Chris
Joel.
Pratt, Chris Pratt adjacent.
What?
Yeah,
What? How?
he got the Mandalorian, then he was Joel, and he blew up and was everywhere. He's a meme. You can't avoid him. I don't know. I don't need any more Pedro
Chris
Pascal for a
Pratt
while.
adjacent. Jeez.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
I
is.
mean, he's not doing much voice acting yet. I don't know. The other thing that was came out of that, some of the Fantastic Four stuff was they're saying that Silver Surfer will be in the movie and will be female version of Silver Surfer
Oh
as
god,
well.
I can't wait for the internet reaction to that one.
Mm, we'll
Silver
see.
Surfer is like inhuman. It's like not a thing almost. So who cares? Like
Are
that's the
they?
weird one.
I
I
thought they
think. Well,
were.
Silver Surfer is normally depicted masculinely, but I don't know if it was. It's like an
Mm,
interdimensional being, I thought.
Was
Like,
it?
I don't think it was that or maybe at
I
one
thought
point
I
that
he
he
don't
had
was.
a
know
whole
enough about
planet.
Silver Surfer to be
I don't
honest.
know,
Like,
but I know that it's like he's normally like an alien, like
Well, yeah.
that's like super
mhm.
Hold
powerful
on.
and like not very human.
I think they also like approached Mad Nicholson to play a part like Galactus or something.
Yeah,
But
humanoid alien with metallic skin who could travel through space with the air of his surfboard. Originally young astronomer named Norrin Rod on the planet Zen Law, he saved his homeworld from the planet devoured Galactus by serving as his herald.
So he's a humanoid alien. All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
well, now it's a she
that's fine.
for the movie. So yeah, but the Pedro, I mean, I don't think he's too much. It's interesting. Like he's getting a lot of roles. I think I would have preferred maybe someone less, like
Yeah,
in
no,
the
I'm still about
spotlight.
that. That
Yeah.
I wanted somebody like very unrecognizable. But between
Well, like
like
with like
Adam Driver and Pedro Pascal, I'll
yeah.
take Pedro Pascal over
Oh,
that.
absolutely. So that's the thing is,
I
like,
disagree. I think Adam Driver sort of gives that sort of eccentric like intelligence that you want from a Reed Richards.
No, I
Um,
can't. The
hard to
uh
that's
divorce
not.
the
him
the,
from
the SNL
I just
skit
see
just
that
ruined him
leave
for
and
me.
that
yeah.
I guess the same thing. Like I see Pedro Pascal, I see him smiling like an idiot in that meme now.
No, I
So
mean I don't disagree with you, Mike. There, I'm saying like because like when we got Loki and Thor, Chris Hemsworth and
well, I was
Hiddleston,
not on
you
board with
you get people that you don't
Chris Evans.
recognize. I'm just saying, like you get these people that you don't recognize, and now you know them as those characters, right? And
Sure,
so
but they can
here,
also change
you're
it.
gonna think of these actors as Joel or the Mandalorian first, and we'll see. It's hard to kind of
I don't even know if Mandalorian counts. He took his helmet off in like
yeah, I
the
mean, I'm
first season at the end.
just saying, he played the
Yeah, but he's
Mandalorian. People
known
know.
as him. Yeah.
The other
I don't
thing
know.
is like with even with like Uncharted and Nathan Drake, like Tom Holland as Nathan Drake just seems weird because like you know him as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, right? So,
Yeah, he would.
but it's been I mean, but as an actor, if you can become the character, then I mean that's your job and you can do a good job at it. It doesn't matter. Like Chris Evans, you were mentioning him before. Like
Yeah,
we knew him from stuff before, but he embodied
we
that
knew
role
him
as
as
Captain
Human
America.
Torch
Wait,
Yeah.
first. That's
Evans
why I
or I thought
felt
you
weird.
said Pratt.
Well, no, he just said
No,
Chris
no,
Evans before, just like two
I
seconds
wasn't on
ago.
board with Chris Evans at first, and then he won me over as Captain America. Because
Yeah, I thought you were talking
obviously
about
we
Pratt though. I thought you were comparing him to
He
No,
Pratt.
I
was, he
did
was.
Okay.
earlier. This is a different thing, just because it can be done when you have a character within a similar sphere they're known
Mhm.
as, then they could change
No,
it.
it definitely
Although
can be done. It's
he's
it's
pretty
more
young back then.
difficult. I mean, like, well, like, look at
Like 50.
Yeah, I
what's it?
mean that's what Jim. I was about to say. Like I remember Pedro from his role in Game of Thrones most of all. where he was the Viper.
The Viper, yeah, the Viper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you can really embody the role, you can get people to believe you're that character. It doesn't matter. So we'll see. I really have no
Chris
faith
Pratt
in
is
this
like a
Fantastic
whole
Four
other
movie.
level. Like he's fucking Mario. He's Garfield. He was in Jurassic Park, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Voices mostly though, like I don't know, voices are a little different.
Lego movie.
That's what he does in Mando. He voices him.
But he's known as the character. If the helmet comes off, he's him.
If I guarantee you, less people know that Pedro Pascal is Mandalorian than people know Chris Pratt is like Mario and Garfield.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Garfield, I don't know yet.
Well, yeah, okay, we'll just say Mario. Like that was everywhere.
That's an interesting poll to put up, maybe to see, because I'm curious about that one. I don't know. Like Chris Pratt, it's hard to get away from that voice. People know the voice these days.
Yeah.
So we'll see. For me, Chris Pratt, like he did it though too. I feel like it's Andy. Like you don't see Andy anymore.
Yeah, you see Star-Lord.
You see, yeah.
Right. I mean, and again, it's an early.
He also physically changed a lot for that too.
Yeah, steroids.
Yeah. Jim hated the Garfield trailer, by the way. I didn't even watch it.
I saw some footage of it, and I'm like, why is this all cutesy? Like, Garfield is cynical, and he was an asshole. Like, that's what Garfield should be, a cynical asshole. I don't want him to be all cutesy with John. And John needs to be, like, an annoying nerd. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's who knows. But before we wrap this up, just real quick, is there any favorite Thanksgiving TV episodes / shows, movies that you guys think of when you're this time of the season?
There's two. Wait, hold on. I don't know if somebody else go. I have to look something up real quick.
Oh yeah, you just reminded me that Spider-Man can count as a Thanksgiving movie, so I'd say sure, great. It's like that one.
There it is. Yep.
The first Raimi.
But I mean, the Peanuts one is always the go-to for. I think that's probably the most popular, well-known, maybe. Jim mentioned it just now too. Yep. But yeah, Peanuts I think is the go-to.
It's like never aired anymore.
Well, yeah, no, it's the Peanuts are like what? Didn't Apple get the rights to them or something?
I don't know who has the rights, but they don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if that's for me, that's the one that I think of the most as well as Jim there, and
I forget if Trains, Planes, and Automobiles a Christmas movie.
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
That's definitely a holiday. I think it's Christmas though.
Is it Christmas?
I feel like that's the.
Oh no.
Jim, help us. It's in the chat. Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. What is that one? That's a great movie. Yeah. Jim thinks it's Thanksgiving. Could it be?
Yes, it is Thanksgiving. Yes.
Oh, there you go. Good one. Good pull.
That is one of my favorite movies.
Chicago to spend Thanksgiving with his wife.
That is a great comedy movie. If you have never seen it, I would definitely recommend that.
It's funny to go back because Steve Martin's sort of like, more of a clean comic, especially older, but it's weird to go back and just see him like say fuck all the time in this movie. Not all the time, but here and there.
Mm-hmm. No, like, that's the thing. You get these actors that are...
Yeah, John Candy is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Another movie for Thanksgiving. These are both from childhood.
Yeah, sure.
But this other one was called Dutch. Have you ever heard of that? It starred the guy who played Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill.
Oh, okay. Ed O'Neill, yeah. Ed O'Neill. Modern Family now. People, that's what they know him from.
Yeah. So he's dating like some upper class woman, who's a divorcee and stuff like that, and for some reason, because he's really trying to like make it in with her and stuff like that, because it kind of sticks out because he's like average upper middle class, whatever guy and stuff like that. He offers to pick up her son from his prestigious boarding school or whatever like that.
Right.
And they'll have a little road trip together back to the house for Thanksgiving.
Sounds like a start of a great adventure.
Yeah, so you have this like snooty, spoiled smart aleck kid
Little rich kid. Mhm.
that has to deal with this like average Joe American working class guy,
Right.
and hijinks ensue, and it becomes like this adventure and ordeal and stuff like that. But both of
And they
those,
both grow to
and they both
appreciate
grow,
one
right?
another.
Yep, they both grow to appreciate one another. So both of those pretty good Thanksgiving weeks. So I'll have to see if I can watch those. Yeah.
Those are good. Good pulls there. All right, guys, that'll do it for us tonight. Again, happy Thanksgiving. But before you go, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We're on YouTube. The day after we record live, we are live at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, or close to 8 o'clock as much as possible. Every week, we're here for you guys. So check us out and leave some comments. Join us in the conversation. Jim was not able to make it, but he was able to chime in here and there in the chat. So we appreciate that, Jim. And we will see you on the flip side. I don't know how to end this thing.
Isn't it just like stop? Exclamation stop.
Oh, I was in the wrong. Yeah, there it is. I was like in the Craig channel instead of the AYCG channel. All right.